Good evening, friends. I'm going to share my experience and outcomes in high volume practice post COVID 19. When Corona happened in India, we as eye care professionals needed to innovate. That is, what we did here in Trichy was the previous waiting hall, we converted it into an OPD and investigation cubicle. So we brought all the modalities that we use for investigation under a common roof, including the confocal fundus photography. So this was a picture of our pre-COVID waiting hall. We converted it into an investigation cubicle, as you can see, a transparent acrylic material which we used to make it into a square-shaped in isolation investigative cubicle. So inside the cubicle, you can see the slit lamp with applanation tonometer, the lensometer, the non-contact tonometer, and the EDON confocal fundus photography with the EMR and OCT and so on. So what we did was, once we brought all the machines under a common roof, we provided some sliders so that when we are not using the particular modality, we keep it closed. So moving on to the EDON confocal true color fundus photography, which we are going to see in this particular presentation. It is a non-contact, non-mydriatic fundus camera. As Fabian and Dr. Satyan sir has pointed out, the total examination time is around approximately 30 to 40 seconds maximum cumulatively for both eyes. It provides an excellent simultaneous visualization of both the fundus, thus helping in a good comparative examination, especially being an anti-segment glaucoma specialist. And also in this cubicle, we have provided a leg rest so that the patients may be comfortably oriented or at ease when the test is being performed to them. So what we focus again, another particular prototype model, what we did here is the slit lamp and fundus camera was positioned side by side. As you can see the red marker highlighting it. So in a real-time situation, so this is the EDON confocal fundus camera. And as I take over from Dr. Satyan sir, which he was trying to say about the LAN, the local access network. Here you can see that with the help of a local access network, the output has been taken and connected to a PC desktop. So once the fundus or the anti-segment examination is done by the slit lamp, the fundus examination can be excellently viewed in the PC desktop. The advantage of viewing a soft image or a soft rather than a hard copy images, the zoom can be done, all the 360-degree view can be beautifully viewed, and we cannot even miss a single small finding because of the high resolution capability of the EDON fundus photography. This is a workflow tool of what I am doing. So this is a pupil of the patient who presents to us in a non-mydriatic pupil. So once the patient is positioned at the EDON or the confocal fundus photography, the investigator or the sister just enters the data of the patient and the machine takes over from the sister and it automatically detects by the means of an internal fixating target. It follows the principle of segmentation and localization by circular Fourier domain by segmenting and providing a true color confocal image. First, the right eye is examined, and then automatically the machine shifts to the left eye. So this is a real-time video. I have not fast-forwarded or anything. So where you can see that it takes approximately only 30 seconds for the patient's fundus to get imaged. So the advantage is once the patient's fundus is imaged, and we don't need it's not a technician dependent image. The technician just needs to start the modality. That's it. So once the patient is imaged, automatically the patient then comes to the slit lamp cubicle where the doctor will be present. A small history will be taken, followed by an anti-segment examination by the slit lamp. Once the slit lamp examination for the anti-segment is done, the fundus examination will be done on the PC desktop relay where we can see the right eye of the patient, and then the comparative examination with the left eye is done, and the zoom is being used. As Fabian also pointed out, the image is having excellent resolution. It does not pixelate on zooming. As we saw, the localization and the segmentation profile is beautifully done in the EDON confocal fundus photography. Localization is where all the four major blood vessels ends into the optic nerve. The machine detects the optic nerve by identifying the four major blood vessels: the superior temporal, inferior temporal, superior nasal, and the inferior nasal blood vessels. Once the optic nerve has been identified, now with the help of circular hoop transform, the disc and the cup is differentiated. So let us see the real-time EDON's display and how it undergoes segmentation and localization. So this is the display of the EDON. Once the data has been fed and the mission has been initiated, with the help of an internal fixating target, it starts to automatically focus the retina. So first you see that with the help of the four major trunks ending into the optic nerve, it first detects the optic nerve head as seen in this video. It is the localization of the optic nerve as seen here. Once the localization is underwent, now the segmentation of the cup and the disc takes place along with detailed structures in the background of the retina. So this is a real-time video again. Maximum 30 seconds for both eyes is what it takes. So once it is done, since we are now facing a COVID crisis, we sterilize the headrest and the chin rest and also the appendages of the cubicle with sanitized with the sterilium so that the risk of virus transmission is avoided. And the leg mat can also be cleaned intermittently subsequently. The challenging factor that was put to rest when the 90-day after examination was done in the pre-COVID era initially was the doctor was inadvertently accidentally touching the patient's face mask or the patient's face. And also, if you are a person who are using the face shield, then you are ending up with poor visualization and you had a very poor stereoscopic view of the fundus. Being a glaucoma specialist, stereoscopic view is very important in detecting subtle disc changes for glaucomatous diagnosis. This is a real-time video eliciting where I'm trying to concentrate in avoiding touching the patient's face, but in view of a good stereoscopic view, inadvertently I end up touching the patient's face or the face mask, which we don't want to do in this kind of an era. And I did a study was done on what was to evaluate the outcomes with the automatic non-mydriatic confocal fundus photograph. Our aim was to evaluate how is the quality of the non-mydriatic image. The company claims 2.5 millimeters and above, the image is good. But let us see how in real-time study it really works and how effective it is in diagnosing the pathology. So 831 consecutive patients attending the OPD, that is 1662 eyes, were screened with EDON confocal fundus photography from May 5 to May 23. That is precisely during the third phase of the lockdown when we were slowly starting our practice. So out of the 1662 eyes, 123 eyes were excluded due to logistic reasons and 1539 eyes were included in the study. The 123 eyes that were excluded due to logistic reasons were predominantly ACCO, uveitis, foreign body, hordeolum internum, bullous keratopathy, chalazion, and so on. For example, we had a single patient here, as you can see, back issues. The patient was not able to cooperate because of a back issue. So apart from this 123 patients, the remaining 1539 patients underwent quality checking based on even illumination of the image, good focus, absence of any bright artifacts, that is white noise, absence of dark artifacts, black noise, and image acquisition signals influenced by pupil size and media opacities like cataract. And we classified them into good, medium, poor, and no image. So this is a good quality image, as you can see, an inferior temporal BRVO, as also beautifully pointed out by Dr. Mansi. And this is a good quality image of a right eye again, showing a zoomed image where the pixelation is not taking place. It's a high resolution image showing a central serous retinopathy here. And this is a medium quality image. An image was defined as medium quality if it is 50 to 70% of the image was having good quality and 25% of the image had dark noise. As you can see inferiorly, there are some dark noises here on the left hand side of your screen, and on the right hand side of your screen you can see some dark noises here in the inferior part followed by some white noise in the superior part. The left hand side image looked more like a toxoplasmic scar. In the right hand side image here you can see a neovascularization of the disc. And this is a poor quality image. A poor quality image was defined as poor if it had more of dark noises in predominantly 360 degree of the images, followed by some white noises here, or rather on the right hand side of the screen, you can see that 60% of the image was not possible to acquire because of the dark noises and also some white noises, which could be due to pupil or due to the cataractous nature of the patient. And this is a no image where you can see that there are only 10% of the image is visible. And you can see only the optic nerve that is visible on the left-hand side image of your screen. The right-hand side also, we tried an image, but it is totally black. We don't get an image at all. So the results were compiled for the 1,539 eyes that were screened from May 5 to May 23rd, 2020. And the total number of good quality images obtained were 1,079. That is 70% of the images were good. So this is the graph I would like to share in my personal experience. A good quality was 70%, medium quality was 16%, and poor quality was 6%. I was not able to obtain images in around 8% of the patients. 8% meaning 129 eyes. And the pupil size was compared versus the image quality. So for a good image quality, you can see the pupil size was relatively higher as expected. In the right eye, as shown in the graph below, for a good image, the pupil size was 3.22, and in the left eye, it was 2.62. And for a medium quality image, the pupil size slightly dropped from 3.22 in the right eye to 2.99, and from 2.62 to 2.30 in the left eye. And the poor quality image, it subsequently dropped even further, less than 2.5 millimeters, as Fabian pointed out. One can appreciate the graph decreasing in size from the left hand side to right hand side, indicating that pupil does play a role. And why no imaging was possible in 129 eyes was 76% of them had mature cataract, or rather no view of the fundus was possible, and in the remaining 31 eyes, that is 24%, the pupil size was less than 2 millimeters. The 1,410 images which were done, 88% of them were normal funduses and 12% of them were pathological funduses. Out of the pathologies, the majority of pathologies that we saw was non-proliferative diabetic retinopathy, already diagnosed glaucoma on treatment, ARMD, PDR treated with PRP, and newly diagnosed glaucoma, and so on. I would just want you to see this graph, which again is a representation of the table. So 29% of them were newly diagnosed with non-proliferative diabetic retinopathy. 12% of them were already on treatment on glaucoma diagnosis, and 11% of them were age-related macular degeneration. 9% of the patients have PDR, that is proliferative diabetic retinopathy, with PRP done previously. So it was already diagnosed. The most important finding was the remaining two curves, the remaining two pie diagrams here. That is, the 6% of them were newly diagnosed glaucoma patients, and it was done without a 90-day examination on slit lamp. And the remaining 5% is a newly diagnosed proliferative diabetic retinopathy. And 28% of the fundus were others. Others meaning, as you can see in this table inferiorly, we had one patient retinoschisis, cystoid macular edema, subhilar hemorrhage, etc. And as Satyan sir was trying to point out with the LAN interconnectivity, the local access network, once we connect the machine with the computer, the advantage is the doctor's moving time to the machine can be avoided, and multiple doctors in a single institute can view a beautiful zoomed image at their point where they are sitting. And also, the patient can be emailed a soft copy can be done. And being a glaucoma practitioner, I would just close my presentation with this practice pattern, where I would do a fundus picture for a patient. This was a confusing scenario as to whether a patient was having glaucoma or not. Once a fundus picture was done, a zoomed examination helped me reveal that the RNFL was completely healthy in the superior and inferior quadrants in both the eyes, putting all speculations to rest that this is not a glaucomatous disc. And a clean-cut case of glaucoma, if the patient arrived, it helps us in documenting and risk profiling the patient. In the right eye, we have an inferior notch, and in the left, again, we have a 0.9 or a GOA cupping. And this mission also gives us risk profiling by terms of an objective structural assessment in terms of a cup disc ratio measurement tool, which gives you the cup disc ratio up to 2 decimal points, 0.88. So next time, if another doctor examines the patient, there will be no confusion as to whether it is 0.8 or whether it is 0.85. Rather, we will be more close to precision as much as possible. And in case of a normal tension glaucoma, as you can see an inferior splinter hemorrhage on the left side of your screen, The same patient can be followed up subsequently, showing the resolution of the splinter hemorrhage beautifully with precision can be followed up. The structure function correlation loss in glaucoma, as you can see the superior notch seen on the right hand side of your screen's fundus camera. So the structural damage can also be correlated with the functional damage on the left hand side. That is the polar analysis of the visual field screen in octopus. So multiple advantages are there. Adding to one more thing, that is if there is a dense cataract, this is an example of NO6 NC6, that is a grade 6 cataract where no image was possible or a poor quality image was possible. With the help of a gamma filter, as you can see here, which comes with the machine itself, by using the gamma filter, the image quality is enhanced and reconstructed. And now, with the help of a zoom, we get a more detailed view of the fundus. What patient fundus we would have documented as hazy view, which may be normal in a manual examination in slit lamp 90D, now turns out to be a left side glaucomatous pallor. As you can see, there is even laminar dot sign that is beautifully depicted. And also there is an app devised by Dr. Satyan sir, the eye drop reminder light, which helps you in attaching the patient's soft copy itself to the patient, so that even if the patient loses follow-up to us, the patient will contain his soft copy for further examination by even another doctor, or if the patient is traveling. And also the soft copy is the best copy you can give to the patient, so he can have it with him for future reference if he is a traveling patient or if the patient is losing follow-up. So I have had a tremendous experience with EDON TrueScan color confocal fundus photography, and I would like to thank Dr. Satyen Parthasarathy sir and Mr. Fabian for introducing me into this new world of confocal fundus imaging. So today, without this, I find my practice very difficult because every patient entering into the OP, average I see around 100 to 110 patients per day. We have a team of 4 to 5 doctors here. Almost everybody sees the patient anti-segment with slit lamp followed by the fundus examination with the confocal imaging system. It has become one of the routine practices today due to the COVID crisis. Thank you.